So the Federal Housing Administration just gave the okay for a 40-year FHA loan modification. And to many of you that are watching this, maybe you do have an FHA loan, or maybe you're thinking about getting an FHA loan in the future to buy your first home. Well, there's a caveat here. This 40-year mortgage modification is only for those that currently have an FHA loan and they are in a position where they are unable to meet their financial obligations, meaning that they're in default and they're unable to make their payments. Now, they have not yet created or approved for a 40-year loan for first-time home buyers. So we don't know yet when that's gonna happen, if it does, but I think it might, and I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit in this video. But overall, what I feel about the market and this 40-year loan modification is this. Most people are sitting on a 2%, 3% interest rate that they bought a couple years ago. So the ones who are really using this have to be in really bad financial situation to get a modification, especially on a loan that's 2 and 3%. So I really don't see that I don't really think this is gonna help the economy that much or really boost it. In fact, I think a couple years too old. This is something that came up from the COVID era. And yeah, I get it. You know, the 40-year modification, if you're in a bad situation, this is a fantastic product to use and you should use it to save your home. But this is just delaying the process of foreclosures. I mean, right now we're at the record low foreclosures in the whole country, in all of history. So right now you're just delaying it. And if you have an FHA loan, which the majority of people who own FHA loans, if from the beginning don't have the financial means to put a large down payment on their property. So a lot of them are either putting 3.5% down. So you're assisting them, but you're not really helping them per se. Yeah, you're making their monthly payments more affordable, but you're kicking the can down the road, and then now you're just justifying the high prices that are all across the country. So now you have FHA 40-year modification loans, okay, but now you also have high interest rate at the moment. So you're further creating a lack of a price adjustment in the marketplace, which, to be honest with you, that's what we need. We're gonna see major price reductions across the country. We're gonna have to see unemployment go up, and how far will it? It seems that the federal government really does not want to create another 2008 financial crisis. As you can see, they're bailing out banks, they're bailing out homeowners that purchased homes incorrectly, and just kicking back any issues that they're having paying their mortgage, kicking it back to, hey, do another 10 years, do a 40-year loan modification. So yeah, I don't know. This is a tricky situation to be in, but if you're in a position where you need to use this, by all means, this is a great product for you to use if you're in that financial position. Now, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. What if the federal government approves a 40-year loan for first-time home buyers? It's gonna create even more competition in the marketplace, because think about it like this. It's just gonna justify these high prices. So if you're paying for a home that's $600,000, $500,000, and it wasn't even that price 3 years ago, and now you're paying for that, all those people are gonna enter back into the market competing for these homes and create a multiple offer situation where the price might go even higher than what it is. So I don't think it's advantageous to the market that we do come up with that product. I mean, I get it with interest rates being as high as they are, and who knows how long they're gonna stay there. Maybe this type of product is gonna help the end consumer, which it will with adjusting mortgage payments, making it more affordable. I guess if they do a 40-year loan for FHA and they approve that, well, a couple pros is that monthly payments could potentially drop a lot less. And instead of renting or becoming a forever renter, you might have the possibility to purchase your first home. Now, granted, when you see or hear a 40-year loan, you're probably thinking about, man, how much interest rate am I gonna pay? But the end consumer really is looking at what are they gonna be able to afford monthly. And that's what you should look into if you're thinking about whether to stay in the rental that you're in or purchasing your home. Now, think about it like this. It's more advantageous for you to buy a home if you can make the payments on a 40-year loan. If you can make it on a 30-year, I'm always gonna say do the 30-year, but worst case scenario, you need to do a 40-year loan. You rather pay that money to yourself than pay it to a landlord. Because at the end of the day, the landlord's gonna kick you out and throw you to the streets. When you own your home, there's a little more protection and there's a bit of a longer process for them to kick you out. The bank is not just gonna go in there and evict you immediately. There's a process to this, especially when you're going down the foreclosure route, if that does even happen. So there's some pros to that. Also, you're owning equity in your property. Why not pay that money towards yourself, build up your equity? And yeah, you're doing a 40-year loan, but the majority of Americans really stay in their home for 7 to 10 years and then sell their home and upgrade or use that money to purchase another property. So that's a good thing to have. You're gonna have equity in your home. Now for some of the cons, the interest rate is pretty scary and how much you're gonna be paying in interest. I'm gonna show you that in a little bit. It's gonna drop your jaw, but I mean, it's crazy. It's practically almost doubling what you're gonna be paying for at the end of the day. So let's dive into the numbers. Let's say here you're gonna put out a loan for $500,000. You get an interest rate of 6.5, and we're gonna stay with the standard 30-year fixed rate. What does that come out to? Well, your monthly payments are gonna be $3,160. Your total interest is gonna be $637,000. Now the total cost of the whole loan is gonna be $1,137,000. Now if we just change the loan length to 40 years, we're looking at $905,000 in interest. And the total cost for a loan is gonna be $1.4 million. And that's just for a typical $500,000 loan, which most single family homes around the country are going for that, especially in the more metropolitan areas. That's just like the starting price, to be honest with you. And here in Miami, we have townhomes going for $450,000, $400,000. So $500,000 for a single family townhome, that's very, very entry level here in Miami. And now another fear you should be thinking about is, okay, so let's say you don't sell your home in 7 to 10 years, you live in the property for 40 years. Think about it like this. The average American that buys their first home is 36 years old. So by the time you're 76, not including if you do any refinances, any modifications, anything like that to extend the term, you're essentially gonna be paying that for up until you're almost 80 years old. That's ridiculous. So what are you gonna do in your golden years apparently? You're just gonna stay in your home until you die and then pass down the loan to somebody else or kick the can down the road? And to be honest with you, this really questions whether the American dream is possible. Having the white picket fence, your home, a dog, kids, having your job. Is that even possible in today's society? And can we go back to that? I think that there's a way to get there, but there's gonna take a lot of components with the public, private sector, and us at the end of the day to voice and communicate what we're feeling and what we're seeing at the end of the day, going out there and trying to make the change. So if you enjoy this content, drop a comment down below, like, share, and subscribe. And I really appreciate you just watching this video if you made it to the end. And if you have any ideas or any suggestions on any topics you want me to cover, let me know and I'm gonna dive right into it.